Yo guys, it's your boy Hybrid Hit Squad back again with another football commentary style video. You guys have been really enjoying these types of videos recently, and this video is going to be on how I think Thomas Tuchel can create Chelsea into the next European super team, or European powerhouse. I think I'm looking at this starting 11 that I've made, and that I think is probably arguably their strongest starting 11. I'm looking at it, I'm thinking this is on par with the other European powerhouses, the Bayern Munich's, the Juventus's, the Barcelona's, Man City's, arguably, I mean, even PSG, the Man City's, like I said, the Barcelona or Madrid. Chelsea's up there now. They are 100% are up there now. And I think Thomas Tuchel may just be the right guy for it. You know, when he first came in, there's absolutely no doubts in Thomas Tuchel's ability as a manager, none at all. But I think in terms of being able to manage, or in terms of being able to manage upwards, is maybe a downfall for him. So I'm seeing him fall out with and burn his bridges at Dortmund. I then saw that he fell out with the PSG, I believe technical director, Leandro, something like that. He's a Brazilian player, former PSG player. I'm not 100% sure of his name. So I saw he fall out with him. I'm thinking, you now have got probably the most trigger happy, most toxic and trigger happy chairman in football is now your boss, and you've fallen out with two bosses before. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But when you're getting results, you know, everyone's happy, and that's what he's been doing. He's been getting results. He's been winning games. I mean, he won the Champions League for Christ's sake. You know, that's the biggest trophy a Chelsea manager can win, apart from the league. You know, they're right up there with each other. And Chelsea only won the Champions League once. They've won the league a couple of times. Only won the Champions League once, and now with Tuchel a second time. And they were a million miles off of it. They were a million miles off it under Lampard. So even though sacking Lampard, I didn't really agree with, because I think if you're a club, I think when you're in that position and you sack a manager like Lampard, it's more a poor reflection on you as a club, where you're hiring a manager, a young manager. When you do that, you're pretty much accepting the reality that you're not really going to be winning any trophies in the next 2 to 3 years. That you're backing this manager's potential to turn into the next Mourinho, Klopp, Pep, whatever. So then when you're a year and a half in and it's not going the right way, in my head, as a chairman, you should have already prepared yourself for this, because at that point, I'm thinking, you should have prepared yourself for this reality, that you got a manager like this is what's going to happen. So then hiring Lampard with a view to, we're going to give this manager time, and then not give him time just to sack him, isn't a good look for me. But if you're going to sack him, you need to get in someone quality, and that's exactly what they've done. They got in someone who's won trophies at PSG, dominated the domestic league with PSG as expected. That's what you're supposed to do with PSG. But then got them to the first Champions League finals. There's something they never achieved before. They've done that under Tuchel. Tuchel then fell out with the chairman and all that. Has come to Chelsea, won them their second Champions League ever. Huge accomplishment. But let me get into the starting 11. I can talk about Tuchel and his history and what he's been doing at Chelsea so much, but let's get into the starting 11. I think in goal they have to go with Edward Mendy. I don't think Mendy's amazing, to be honest. I don't think he's that great. But Kepa was so bad. I mean, that's pretty much the situation they were forced into. But Kepa was so bad that he had to get Mendy in, and I think actually Kepa's probably improved since Mendy's come in, since he hasn't got that pressure on him now. Since he hasn't really got players, his defenders throwing him under the bus. I mean, people say that defenders weren't confident when they've got a bad keeper in goal, but I think it goes both ways. Keepers aren't going to be confident if they've got a bad defense in front of them. You know, I remember they conceded a goal and all the players are shouting out Kepa. Like, I agree. I believe that players should be taking more stuff on and better mentality and all that stuff, but You've just considered the goal. And you've got everyone shout, all your teammates, yeah, your teammates shouting out your name and calling you out for it. You know, in that moment, he's not going to feel great about it. I think he's coming back from that. I mean, it's obvious Chelsea massively overpaid for him. But it's funny how Chelsea can get away with making these terrible signings. Why? Because they win stuff. Because they win stuff. You can buy someone like Barkley and have him absolutely flop if you can just replace him with a Ziyech or Havertz in next season or season after. Anyway, so I want Edouard Mendy in goal. And then we've got Marcus Alonso at left back. A bit controversial. I think no one would blame you for going with Ben Chilwell. I think Ben Chilwell's done really well so far. I think he's had a couple of issues with injury. But Marcus Alonso has completely turned his form around. I think we know him as a Deadpool specialist. We know how good he is attacking. So what you need is a manager like Tuchel who knows what he's got in a player and play to his strengths. Even though Alonso was up for sale, no one seems to talk about that too much. He was up for sale in the summer. He was up for sale. They wanted to swap him for Hakimi at Inter Milan, I believe. I mean, that deal obviously didn't go through, and he's still here now. But Marcus Alonso, dead ball specialist, defensively pretty poor, but they make up for it in other areas. You know, he's been played really well. Honestly, the most well-rounded left back they've got is Ben Chilwell, no doubt about it. But Alonso brings something different to the table. He's a dead ball specialist. He's pretty much the only one in that team that I can see, to be honest. Yeah, that's really elite. He's elite at it. Then we've got a centre-back partnership of Antonio Rudiger and Thiago Silva. And centre-back is kind of, or was rather, a position that Chelsea were pretty blessed with. A lot of talent. They did have Kurt Zouma. Of course, they sold him to West Ham for a decent fee, but still, I don't think was the right move to sell him if you can't guarantee that you're getting in someone like Jules Koundé. Even then, Jules Koundé in the Premier League, I'm not even sure if he's that much of a step up on Zouma. But if you're going to lose Zouma, you need to bring in someone else as well. But that's not what they've done. So I think their backup centre backs would be Chalobah, I'd assume. I suppose he can play there. Chalobah, Asby, and who else? Christensen. Christensen turned stuff around from also played really well. Thiago Silva is a legend, a modern day legend in football. So happy that he's getting to end his career at Chelsea, still at the top level. Speaks a lot to his levels that he's able to stay at this level for so long. Antonio Rudiger, another one who's really turned his fortunes around since Tuchel came in. I think when he first came in, he was playing really well, but then had a bit of dip in form. I think he might have had an injury issue as well. And the Lampard came back under Tuchel and has really stepped his level up. Physically really good, defensively aware also, and decent on the ball. You know, not amazing, but pretty decent on the ball. And then we've got at right back Reece James. Reece James, I mean, what do we need to say about Reece James? Blistering pace, really nice on the ball as well. Can whip in a cross on his day. I think, yeah, he's pretty much in there by default. He's the best right back at the club. You've got Asby, who, just like a centre back, can fill in at right back. He's a really good option as well. But I think you're going to want to go with Reece James at this point, where he's got the most upside, or more upside than Azpilicueta. I think Azpilicueta, you know, we know he's ageing. Hasn't really showed it though, to be fair. Hasn't really showed it. He's still been running up and down that wing, putting in tackles, getting the ball forward, doing his thing. But I think you're going to want to go with Reece James because right now he's got the most upside. Now, in the midfield three, here we go. I've got Saul Niguez, Mateo Kovacic and N'Golo Kante. Now, this midfield three, like, I think it rivals the midfield threes of Real Madrid, PSG, Bayern Munich, Man City. Well, maybe not Man City, but, you know, it's up there. Like, don't get it twisted, it is up there, 100%. You know, Saul Niguez, who they've got on loan for this season, with an option to buy. A really nice, solid player. as well. He's going to bring a decent amount to this team. He's a pretty good ball carrier, I'm going to say. Pretty nice on the ball. Able to spread the ball around as well. Physically, for a Spanish player as well, can hold his own. N'Golo Kante. Where do I start with N'Golo Kante? One of the best defensive midfielders of a generation. Of this modern generation from, I'm going to say, the past 10 years. He's he's up there with the Busquets, the Fernandinho's. He's up there with them. He can do everything. In a defensive capacity, he can do everything. He can intercept, he can tackle, he can jockey, he can get about the pitch, he can press. Obviously, he's not a great finisher. He's a defensive midfielder. He's not going to be a great finisher. Then you've got Mateo Kovacic, who I really am excited about also. I think he's brought a lot to the team at Chelsea. He's really showed quality at times. Showed a real silky way about him where he plays. On another one, just like the other two, he's well rounded. He can do it all. He really is a two-way midfielder. Can contribute attacking phases, but also does not neglect his defensive duties at all. And then on the left wing, I'm gonna go with Kai Havertz. And this is a position Kai Havertz played on a few occasions at Leverkusen. I think he probably doesn't bring as much to the team in terms of being a offensive threat in the way that Werner is. And I mean that where you're going to see Werner always be making runs in behind. I don't think you're going to see that too much of Havertz, but what Havertz doesn't do in that, he makes up for with on the ball ability and physicality as well. He's a tall guy, he's pretty strong, doesn't get knocked off the ball that easily. I'm going to say not that easily. He's able to move the ball as well, cuts inside. Not an amazing finisher, but I'm expecting him to get more goals than what I'm pretty sure he got more goals last season than Werner did, and I'm backing him to do the same this season also, if he didn't last season. Then on the right wing, we've got a player that I really, really like from his Ajax days, Hakim Ziyech, who I think Lampard was kind of using him incorrectly, where Lampard was playing more of a 4-2-3-1 and playing Kai Havertz as a 10 and Ziyech on the right. And I think when you were doing that, you were forcing, not forcing, but Ziyech likes to cut inside. That's what he likes to do. He likes to cut inside. And when you're on the wing and cutting inside, and you've got a number 10 there, you're pretty much, in the best case scenario, you're almost occupying a similar sort of space. And it creates issues, and I think that's what was happening with Chelsea, really. They're kind of getting in each other's way, and they weren't really clicking. I think one of the main things under Lampard in his second season, the attack really wasn't clicking. The defence wasn't amazing either, don't get it twisted, but the attack really wasn't clicking. And I think we're still yet to see the best out of Ziyech, but I think he's another one with really high upside, and I'm excited to see what he can do this season, surrounded by a really solid team, a really great midfield. Havertz on the left wing, Werner can also come in on that left wing as well and do a job, but the bread and butter for Chelsea is no doubt the main man up front, Romelu Lukaku. Easily top 3 strikers in the world, and I say that with my chest, I say that with no hesitation. He is easily, and I mean easily, the top 3 strikers in the world. I back him over a lot of people. I'm saying he's top 3 in the world, so pretty much everyone, more or less. But you're guaranteeing 15, 20, 25 goals a season with a player like Romelu Lukaku up front. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do with Chelsea as well. It's been a long time coming. I think really was underrated at Man United. Was scoring goals. He's scored a lot of goals everywhere he's been, but people just seem to constantly appreciate him pretty much. They seem to underappreciate him because even the media, they've made it sound like his time at United was a flop. They needed to go back to the drawing board and completely change. And yes, don't take it the wrong way. He did change his game in Italy. He did change and improve, but by no stretch was his time at United a flop at all. Like at all. I'm pretty sure he won the Europa League there and finished second in the league also, and won the League Cup as well. And was key. He scored a lot of goals. So yeah, that's pretty much how I think that Chelsea will turn into the next European superpower, or could. They've got the potential to. I think in a year to 18 months, we're looking at the next European superpower. As long as Tuchel can keep his job, because if Tuchel can't keep his job and he gets sacked with a squad like this, then there's no hope for anyone. You know what I mean? There's no hope for anyone. If Tuchel can get sacked after winning the Champions League, then we've all got no hope in this world. But like I said, let's go through the squad again. So we've got Mendy in goal, a back four of Alonso, Rudiger, Silva and James, a midfield three of Kante, Saul, Kovacic, and the front three of Havertz, Lukaku and Ziyech. Obviously on the bench you'll have guys like Aspi, Chilwell, Christensen, Barkley, Ross Barkley, Werner, Hudson-Odoi, of course, a really quality player that I'm really high on, as well. Chalobah as well. The future's looking really bright for Chelsea, and like I said, in the next year to 18 months, we're looking at the next European superpower. But yeah, I hope you liked this video. This one was actually a requested video by my boy AB. He left a comment on the last video that I did on this, the Arsenal one, asking if I could do this one in Chelsea. So this one's for you, brother. But yeah, I hope you have a sweet day. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like. If you want more videos like this, or if you've got another suggestion like AB, leave a comment below. And if you don't want to miss out on more videos just like this one, make sure to subscribe. It's been your boy Hybrid Hit Squad, and I'm out. Peace.